You are listening to WTUZ Radio Podcast. Welcome to WTUZ Radio Podcast. I am your host, Rhonda, and today's topic, will be polygamy and the Black conscious community. Now, I've spoken on the conscious community before about folks scamming in the conscious community. I've commented several times on a live about the dysfunctions of the conscious community, specifically the Black, aka melanated conscious community. I also did a drop about poverty pimping, which strictly was about the Black conscious community. So now this whole polygamy deal and the connection with the Black conscious community needs to be discussed also. Okay, so I'll get into what was the final draw for me to do this particular podcast in a minute, but before I go into my auntie mode, or as some people say, my rants, let's do a little bit of definition on what polygamy really is. So hold on, let's use a little bit of technology here. Okay, so this is from The Sun, which is a magazine out of the UK. And it is, what is polygamy? Meaning and definition behind the custom of having more than one wife or husband. Right? For most people, till death do us part is a phrase meant for just one person. But for some, one other half just isn't enough. So here are the answers to your multiple questions about the world of polygamy. What is polygamy? Polygamy is the act of marrying multiple spouses. That means having more than one husband or wife at the same time. The term is the opposite of monogamy, which is the more common practice of having just one spouse at any given moment. The habit was once quite widespread across parts of the globe and is still practiced by some to this day. But in most countries, polygamy is now illegal, or at the very least not officially recognized. What forms does polygamy take? There are generally assumed to be three forms of polygamy. Polygyny, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, polyandry, and group marriage. Polygyny is a man who has multiple wives. Polyandry is when a woman has multiple husbands. Group marriage is a bit of a free-for-all where the family unit consists of mishmash of spouses from both sexes. Is polygamy legal in the UK? Polygamy is not explicitly a criminal offense in the UK, but bigamy is. Bigamy is a practice of marrying someone while still married to another and is punishable by up to 7 years in prison. Love rat Daniel Gundry was caught out when his wife saw him on Ant and December's Saturday night takeout with another woman. He was jailed for 6 months on January 10th, 2018. Child. So I'm assuming old boy was married. He was doing bigamy. if he was put up in jail, because it couldn't have been just from cheating, because child, what? A mass amount of population would be locked up in a slammer if it was just for cheating. But anyway, it was stated in a written answer to the House of Commons that in Great Britain, polygamy is only recognized as valid in law in circumstances where the marriage ceremony has been performed in a country whose laws permit polygamy, and the parties to the marriage were domiciled there at the time. Okay. In addition, immigration rules have generally prevented the formation of polygamous households in this country since 1988. Oh, wow, that's not that far back. That's interesting. The practice is, however, not recognized by the benefits system. I can see that, which I am suspiciously willing to bet that's why they don't want polygamy in the first place. But we'll continue on. I'll continue on. Which cultures practice polygamy? Polygamy was once a widespread way of structuring a family unit. References, particularly to men with multiple wives, can be found in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and the Rig Veda holy text. Ciao. Why am I not surprised that the origins of polygamy is tied to religion? No surprise to me. None whatsoever. Okay, we'll get a little bit deeper into that once we talk about polygamy in the Black conscious community. Despite its presence in the Old Testament, most branches of Christianity do prohibit the taking of more than one wife or husband. A notable exception to this rule are some adherent to the Church of the Latter-day Saints or Mormons. Some fundamentalist Mormons continue the practice despite the church ending the practice in 1890. Islamic doctrine states a man may have a total of 4 wives, but put restriction on who those women can be and insists that he must be able to provide for them all. Many Muslim majority countries allow the practice, with Kuwait being the only one that imposes no restrictions. However, it is prohibited in the Islamic nations of Turkey, Tanzania, Albania, Kosovo, and Central Asian countries. What is the difference between polygamy and polyamory? Polyamory is the act of having multiple partners where all parties are aware of the fact, but without the official act of marriage. It differs from polygamy in the sense that those involved will not be husbands or wives, but simply partners in an intimate relationship. We'll get a little bit into this as we go into how the Black conscious community is, quote, quote, implementing polygamy. Many people who practice polyamory have a different view of sexual fidelity than is traditionally held, not regarding sexual exclusivity as a part of it. Because there is no official religious or legal ceremony involved, there are no laws in the UK restricting polyamory. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Okay. So again, you can catch this article. This is from out of the UK, The Sun, and it is called "What is Polygamy? Meaning and Definition Behind the Custom of Having More Than One Wife or Husband." Now, let's get into the Black conscious community. And I am specifically speaking, of course, in the Americas. All you have to do is pull up any one of the self-appointed Black conscious leaders that get any sort of notoriety from a group of Black, aka melanated people, to supposedly and allegedly build a movement in order to uplift the said Black, aka melanated community. And it is literally, family, it is literally a formula and a script. And if you pay attention, those self-appointed leaders are going to follow that formula and a script to the T. To the T. And polygamy is always a part of it. So when we discuss polygamy in these Black conscious groups, let's be clear what we're talking about. We're not talking about polyandry when a woman has multiple husbands. We're talking polygyny, where the man has, quote, quote, multiple wives. And every last one of those said appointed leaders fall. It all comes crumbling down. They get exposed for the low lives that they have really, truly always been deep down inside. What we see in these groups, family, are these particular men appointing themselves as some sort of leader with the backing of said conscious community, because that's how they get their notoriety, and with the support of, the financial support of, the mental support of said Black, aka melanated community. They start building this fake reality, this fake world of what we can all do as one people. But yet, all of the wealth, all of the power is held within this said leader's hand. All of the wealth this self-appointed leader generates from the same said Black, aka melanated community that they claim they want to uplift. And what comes with this quote, quote, said building from this cult leader, because at this point it's a cult, is the whole notion of polygamy, aka the pimp game. Because how they sell it is, that's how our ancestors used to do things. Because there's so many single mothers or men not taking care of their children, not enough Black men to go around, this is a great way for us to come together and build families, build strong families, yada, 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 yada. What always happens, what always happens is a gross abuse and misuse by the self-appointed and heavily backed and supported by the Black conscious community leader. Just totally takes advantage, totally it's not a person of their word, totally does not live up or implement anything that they claim. What we find is one facade to the public, but behind the scenes, totally mismatch, not doing what they're supposed to do. Now you have two types of these polygamous cult leaders. You have the one type, don't have a pot to piss in, window to throw it out. And as they're pulling together these, concubine of quote wives, they're either living off of the wives' resources, and in many cases living off the wives' resources and the wives' children's resources in the form of public assistance. Okay? And they are behind the scenes scamming the quote said Black community. That's one type of polygamous pimp. All right? Although publicly they say to lure the women in, it is about let's build a family, let's pull together, you have that strong male support system, this, that, and the third, but yet they don't have a pot to piss in, window to throw it out, has never had a consistent record, let's be clear, never had a consistent record of supporting themselves for any amount of time and supporting themselves and their own children that they have with other women. That's the first polygamous pimp. Let's get to the second type, because the second type, they done up their game a little bit now. They done up their game. They do. They actually do have money. They actually do. They are actually able to support multiple families and support them well. Still doesn't change the fact that they break all the said rules they put together. Abuse of power, and all of them to date got said wealth off the back of the AKA melanated conscious community people. They didn't come into polygamy with their own said wealth that they built from the ground up from businesses. Their hustle is the hustle of the people. So those are the two forms of polygamous pimps. Here's the formula that both of them follow. Because we're already breaking down, where this article is breaking down, what polygamy really is. 3 types. The conscious Black community only practices and only pushes this first type, the polygyny, when a man has multiple wives. And when the women bring up, well, what about polyandry? Oh, no, that can't go on. Women can't handle that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I'm not advocating for any of it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not advocating for any of it. Because folk are full of shit. They're not mature. They don't know how to sustain and maintain, nor have they proven to be successful in one fucking relationship. The whole premise of how folks are even getting together in relationships are flawed out the gate. It isn't about basic principles, basic values, I really like you as a person. I really love you as a person. I love you as my friend. I want to see the best for you. No. Not in 2021, honey. That ain't how we get together with people nowadays. Nah, don't start with physical attraction. Yeah, dude looking good, this, that, and the third. Let me see what the rest of him is about. Okay, yeah, I really do like this person. Let me get to know this person a little bit better. Oh, yeah, our values really do align. Let me get to know this person a little deeper. Damn, this person is really, really my friend. Then you fall in love. Nah, not that. Not that. Fuck all of that. What you talking about? Fuck that. This is 2021 style. Oh, girl look good. Dude look good. He got that bag. Let's get together. All right. Let's be in a relationship. What about the other motherfucking steps? That's all it takes. Now, I'm only talking about one-on-one relationships right now. I'm not even talking about bringing in other said people into this already jacked up union. Oh, we're going to skip the other steps. We're going to skip the steps of seeing how a woman takes care of her children. What a woman's reputation is in them streets, among her family. What value can said woman add to you and your legacy? Oh, fuck all that. We gonna skip all of them steps. Same with a man. What is his reputation? How does he take care of his said family, his said children? Does he have any abuse issues? Does he have strife, dramatization with said baby mama? Does he have multiple baby mamas? What is his work history? Does he have a work history? No. We're going to skip all of that. Fuck all of that. How do you take yourself serious and you don't even get the basics down in relationships? You don't get to know the person. You don't vet the person. You don't take your time with the person. Not in 2021. If all good, if the money good, the sex is good, they look good, we bout it. And hey, let's start having children. Are we honestly gonna keep kidding and fooling ourselves that we're in real relationships, that we're building healthy, strong families? All right, I'm only talking about supposed one-on-one relationships, which we all know those don't even still be one-on-one, because what happens is you get to the 90-day mark and the 6 month mark, and you tired of that MF already out the gate. But for whatever reason, you only know what that reason is. You stick with it, and so now somebody's stepping outside of the relationship. Or maybe it's the case that it is happy. Everything is going good. But hey, that's what you feel. You feel you need a side man to do this, that, and other. You feel you need a side woman to do this, that, and the other. And now we've gotten so bogus with it. Women going tit for tat with men. Oh, okay, he ain't shit. He gonna do this, that, and that. Okay, well, I'm gonna have this, and that. Oh, okay, then. But as dysfunction is still going, folks still having children like it ain't shit, and wondering why you're at each other's throats. Utterly, utterly ridiculous. Now, we have the same said folk that have not proven to themselves that they can maintain a stable, healthy relationship, that they can maintain a stable, healthy family, just in a one-on-one situation, that they have built a financial foundation for said family. More importantly, that they have done the necessary spiritual work for their mental stability, that they have worked through their childhood traumas and or analyzed, taken ownership, forgiven themselves for past failed relationships. You have the same group of people. Oh, what's really going to work for the Black community is polygamy, specifically polygyny. How? Based on what? You don't even know how to build a basic foundation for a successful you. Let me back that up. How is polygamy, specifically polygyny, supposed to work when you, said person, has not successfully built a stable financial and mental foundation for self? Folks are going into this with no type of foundation, no proven track record, and it's all ego driven. And who's left holding the bag are women and children. What we find instead in these polygyny relationships, which is when a man has multiple wives in the Black conscious community, is that all the rules that were set up, that the women are supposed to select the other woman coming into the fold, they're all supposed to be adults. They're all supposed to be respecting one another. That's not what we find. What we find is a dictatorship. And I mean that literally and figuratively. A man slinging his dick, not only in the relationship with the multiple women. Okay, that's what y'all signed up for. That's what y'all agreed to. But they always break their rule and they go outside. And now we're up to 3 public forms of polygamy in the conscious community. All 3 of those ended in the same scenario, or in 2 of them are still going on, but it's the same scenario where the said man is very abusive, very controlling, changes the rules, breaks the rules when they feel like it, and goes outside of the relationship for other sexual encounters. Then on top of it, they bring disease, sexual transmitted disease, back into the fold of said group. And all of these things are hidden because you can't disclose that to the public. You can't disclose that to the public because then those funds will start to dry up that you're getting from said Black conscious community. This is what's going on in the Black conscious community, because everything that the Black conscious community is built on is egos and lies. Egos and lies. Because the very foundation of what's missing, mental stability, having good character, having basic good values, having a proven track record of being able to maintain, take care of self, maintain, take care of family, having a stable financial background, where said man has built their financial stability from their own hands or from their own thoughts and hands, versus getting the come up from said Black conscious community. And all you have to do is, and once the straw breaks the camel's back and women start coming forward, and you go back to the very first baby mama, you found out that that person was always a piece of shit. Always had an abusive attitude. Just because a person gets wealth, just because a person has a vision or idea that can string a couple of motherfucking sentences together well, or that puts on a great public persona, doesn't build said a leader. That doesn't build a leader. When you give a shitty person, a broken person, a person of ego, power, All it does is amplify those shitty traits. Money don't make the man. What are your values? Looking good don't make the woman. What are your values? Letting a man use you as a fucking doormat. You devaluing yourself does not make you a good mate. Matter of fact, it makes you a poor mate. Because you have given permission for how you will be treated, and it will only escalate and escalate and escalate, which it always does. This is the fuckery that goes on in the Black conscious community with any one of these groups talking polygamy. I haven't seen none of it work. What I have seen are a bunch of women and children being abused and left with nothing. That's what I have seen. What I have seen are women putting their health, their very fucking lives at risk from a self-appointed leader who was a fucking loser then, and he's a fucking loser now. I don't give a fuck how many dollars he has. What are his core values? What are you all really building? Because what difference does it really make if a man have a bag and you're not happy, you're suppressed? What difference does it really make if she look good, she can do this and that, but she can't add anything to your fucking legacy? If you were to drop dead today, you couldn't even drop dead peacefully because you're not even sure if your children will be well taken care of. So again, if Black melanated people cannot build strong families with the partners that they choose, one-on-one, what makes you think that's going to change with one-on-many, many-to-one? If women don't look themselves in the mirror and get some fucking self-esteem, get some fucking self-worth, what difference does it make what type of relationship you're in? When ultimately you're going to be abused, used, and left holding the bag with a bunch of babies. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's not the type of legacy I want to leave for myself. Folks take more analysis on buying a home, buying that luxury car, than they do choosing and selecting a mate. This is not healthy. It's insanity. And time again, we see the same black conscious pimps come through the community with the same game. Oh, this is going to be different. And all we have to sit back, those of us that done seen this come and go, and I'm sure are the ones before us, they done seen this shit up in the 60s. They seen it within the Black Panther Party. They seen it within the Hebrew Israelites. They done already seen it. And it all ends the same. Abuse, women and children left holding the bag. And some of the abuse is so disgusting, we're talking even them babies being caught up in that abuse. Until this day, we have some of those cults where the abuse of children were happening, and you have folks still denying it. There's something wrong with that. It's called mental illness. That's what it's called. In the Black conscious community, it's allowed for these black men to go prey on young women. It's basically allowed. Go prey on the young women, ruin their lives. And I can't even get upset at the young women because they don't know what they don't know what they don't know. Life experience will teach them that. Very disappointed in their mothers. Very disappointed in their fathers. Who was there to guide them? Who was there to give them the playbook with the signs? And even if they wanted to ignore said signs, who was there when they saw them getting into some shit? Be their support system, even if you can't pull them out of that. Still be there for them, still let them know, I don't give a fuck what this nigga says. You always have a home to come to. And if he put his motherfucking hands on you, call us. I'm very disappointed in the parents. Extremely. And especially the parents of the young girls that you even allow your young babies to go live on compounds. Now let's get on you, oh bitches. I have no use for you. I have absolutely no use for a pick me, mammy. None. You have no standards, no self-esteem, and you raise fucking demons. I have no use for you. Because you whores uphold and uplift these self-appointed black conscious polygamy pimps. You bitches amen them, sanction them, talk that bullshit, what women need to do to bow down. Fuck the abuse. You whores prep women and young girls for a life of hell. See, because misery loves company. So, bitch, just because you used to getting your ass kicked for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's supposed to be acceptable for the next generation. Just because you let a pimp snatch away your youth, that's supposed to be acceptable for the next generation of women. I have no use for a mammy, none. And you will be dealt with. All right, I'm back, child. Had to get that, child. Finally get my washer and dryer delivered after 2 months. Supply chain issues, as I've talked about before. So needless to say, I'm back. So I've already gotten on, you old pick-me-ass whores. We see you for who you are. No amount of shaming that you try to do to those of us who will not be abused, who will not allow our self-esteem and self-worth to be torn down, it's not going to work. If you want to stay your dumb ass in that situation, you stay your dumb ass in that situation. But please do realize, any woman, and especially you old bitches, that are bringing these young girls into this abuse, you're going to suffer huge consequences. Because at the end of the day, family, all of these shenanigans that's going on in these cult groups, masked as Black conscious community groups, are being exposed. The universe is putting this shit on Front Street. Nobody gets a pass. And the saddest part about all of this, we're talking relationships in general. I don't hear anybody talking about love. Yeah, y'all remember that thing called love? I don't hear anybody talking about love. But what I do hear are a list of requirements. What I do hear is somebody needing to bow down to someone. That's what I hear. What about love? What's the foundation of these relationships? It's absolutely nothing. So, family, I'm not going to keep you long. This has probably been as long as it should have been. Again, the universe has spoken. Not one of these Black conscious groups have been successful. Not one of the polygamous Black conscious groups have been successful. We see the same formula over and over again. Said and pointed leader, supported by a bunch of broken women, a bunch of broken men that they get said wealth from, includes a harem of women that he can control and manipulate, and hence comes the abuse. And then what just cracks me up even further, you have these same appointed self-Black conscious polygamy pimps always stating how the white man ain't this, how the white man ain't that, yada, 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 yada. And sisters, you're this, you're everything, you're God, you're da, 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 XYZ 1, 2, 3. Only to do what? Lay up with said white woman. put said white woman on the throne. They always break their own rules. Because it's not about building a community. It's not about building strong families. It's not about love. It's all about ego, self-serving. Because again, you have a broken man trying to get his worth from ciphering energy of others. It is dangerous. This is not the situation that adults should be building for the next generation. If you are a man worth any value, how can you look your daughters in the face and say this is acceptable? How can you look your daughters in the face and say, this is what I want for you? How can you look your daughter in the face and say, I want you to select a man just like me? If you are a man worth any value, if you are a woman of any value, how can you look your own daughter in the face and say, this is what I want for you? How can you, as a woman, period, look any woman, young woman, in the face and say, this is your place. This is what you're supposed to do. This is the sacrifice you make. Not for your family, not for yourself, but for an abuser. Not that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be in a partnership where you both set the rules of engagement, where you both have a commitment to raising healthy, happy families. But to be submissive to a man, to be submissive for abuse, to be submissive, to be controlled, to be submissive, to not have any self-worth. I dare you. I dare you. Now, women may not want to admit it, but you set the standard on how a man treats you. I don't know if your mama told you that, but you set the standard. And if that said man ain't treating you like you want to be treated, like you need to be treated, like you deserve to be treated, you leave said man alone. You set the standard how a man is supposed to treat you. Folk, melanated people, you got to get your shit together. You got to get it together. Running into these groups is not your answer. It's not your answer. That's what children do. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your health. You are responsible for your financial security. It starts with self. You are responsible for selecting a partner, a mate, a father, a mother for your children that's in the best interest of your child and of yourself. You're responsible for that. No amount of religion, no amount of group, no amount of ideology is going to do that for you. When is the Black community as a collective going to grow up? Because all I see are a bunch of grown-ass children playing house, having children, fucking up their lives, jumping from one situation to the next, to the next, to the next. And all the time wondering, well, if I just get this one, with the next mate, I'm going to get that one. Instead of really taking a step back, doing the inventory on self and getting your shit together. And that very well may mean you're going to have to sit some shit out. You're going to have to sit out some relationships and get your shit all the way together. In other words, you are going into relationships whole. Not going into relationships looking for someone to make you whole. Let me back that up. Which means going into relationships whole. Not looking for someone to make you whole. And all what I'm describing, again, goes back to who you are as a person, who you are as a soul. So with that said, child, I'm going to go on and step off the auntie podium, but it was really on my heart. Yet another incident with a conscious community self-appointed leader has been jumping off lately on social media. It's the same exact formula. And I don't want to see yet another generation of women thinking they're doing something new, and it's not. It's the same thing over and over and over again. You deserve better. I don't want to see yet another generation of men who feel they have to prove their manhood through fucked up toxic behavior. Who are selecting mates, partners, based on superficial things. It's getting us nowhere. It's furthering the decline. It is leaving our babies unprotected and unloved. And it's unacceptable. So with that said, family child, that's it for me. I wish everyone well on this Tuesday. And I hope that we really, truly start loving ourselves. Because if you can't love yourself, you can't give somebody else something that you don't have. So enjoy your day, family. This is Rhonda with WTUZ Radio Podcast. Peace and love.